The complete works of Swami Vivekananda, An Evening with Our Hindu Cousins, a news report by Northampton Daily Herald, UK, during Swamiji's lecture tours to that country. For Swami Vivekananda proved conclusively that all our neighbors across the water, even the remotest, are our cousins, differing only a trifle in color, language, customs, and religion. The silver tongued Hindu monk, prefacing his address in the City Hall Saturday evening by a historic sketch of the origin of his own and all other leading nations of the earth, which demonstrated the truth that race kinship is more of a simple fact than many know or always care to admit. The informal address that followed regarding some of the customs of the Hindu people was more of the nature of a pleasant parlor talk, expressed with the easy freedom of the conversational adapt and to those of his hearers possessing a natural and cultivated interest in the subject. Both the man and his thought were intensely interesting for more reasons than there can be here. But to others, the speaker was disappointing in not covering a larger scope in his word pictures. The address, although extremely lengthy for the American lecture platform, referring to very few of the customs and manners of the peculiar people considered and of whose personal, civil, home, social, and religious life much more would have been gladly heard from this one of the finest representatives of his oldest races, which the average student of human nature should find preeminently interesting, but really knows the least about. The allusions to the life of the Hindu began with a picture of the birth of a Hindu boy, his introduction to educational training, his marriage, slight reference to the home life, but not what was expected. The speaker diverging frequently to make comparative comments on the customs and ideas of his own and English speaking races. Socially, morally, and religiously, the inferences in all cases being clearly in favor of his own, although most courteously, kindly, and gracefully expressed. Some of his auditors, who are tolerably well posted as to social and family conditions among the Hindus of all classes, would have liked to have asked the speaker a challenging question or two on the good of many number of points he touched upon. For instance, when he so eloquently and beautifully portrayed the Hindu idea of womanhood as the divine motherhood ideal, to be forever reverenced, even worshipped with a devotion of loyalty, such as the most woman respecting, unselfish, and truest of American sons, husbands, and fathers cannot even conceive of. One would have liked to know what the reply would have been to the query as to how far this beautiful theory is exemplified in practice in the majority of Hindu homes, which hold wives, mothers, daughters, and sisters. The rebuke to the greed for gain, the national vice of luxury seeking, self seeking, the dollar case sentiment, which taints the dominant white European and American races to their mortal danger morally and civilly, was only too just and superbly well put. The slow, soft, quiet's impassioned musical voice, embodying its thought with all the power and fire of the most vehement physical utterance, and went straight to the mark like the "Thou art the man" of the prophet. But when this learned Hindu nobleman by birth, nature, and culture attempts to prove, as he repeatedly did in his frequent and apparently half-conscious, half-unconscious digressions from the special point under consideration, that the distinctively self-centered, self-cultivating, preeminently self-soul-saving, negative and passive, not to say selfishly indolent religion of his own race, has proven itself superior in its usefulness to the world to the vitally aggressive, self forgetful, do good unto others, first, last, and always. Go ye into all the world and work religion, what we call Christianity, in whose name 9/10 of all the really practical, moral, spiritual, and philanthropic work of the world has been and is being done. Whatever sad and gross mistakes have been made by its unwise zealots, he attempts a large contract. But to see and hear Swami Vivekananda is an opportunity which no intelligent, far minded American ought to miss if one cares to see a shining light of the very finest product of the mental, moral, and spiritual culture of a race which reckons its age by thousands, where we count ours by hundreds, and is richly worth the study of every mind. Sunday afternoon, April 15th, the distinguished Hindu spoke to the students of Smith College at the Vapor service, the fatherhood of God and the brotherhood of man being virtually his theme, and that the address made a deep impression is evidenced by the report of every auditor. The broadest liberality of the true religious sentiment and precept characterizing the whole trend of thought.